Welcome to Less Trauma Bond episode number 13, you guys. I am so proud we made it to number 13. I have been very consistent, so make sure you always come back and watch Less Trauma Bond every Friday at 10 a.m. It will be uploaded. So, today, you guys, we're actually going to be talking about mastering manifestation. Okay, how to make your manifestations come to life, why your manifestations probably haven't been coming to fruition. We're going to deep dive into it. Okay, so this video most likely is going to be titled Mastering Manifestations Require Alignment. And this is very deep because people will be like, oh, you can manifest, but they don't really go into detail on how you can become aligned with your manifestations in detail. You guys, I'm going to give you the real details on how to make your manifestations come true, how to align them, and some things that you have never heard before. And if you're new here, Less Trauma Bond is always going to tie back to any childhood trauma or any trauma that you may have experienced that may be causing certain things in your life. So I always relate the topic back to trauma at the end of the video to talk about what maybe could be holding you back and how you can work on those things, especially if you're on your healing journey. Okay. So first, I like to get into the definition of manifestation. Okay, so on Google, baby, there was three different definitions. But I picked my favorite one. And mind you, I came up with this title before I seen the definitions. So let's be clear, okay? I be getting messages, okay? So the definition here is a symptom or sign of an alignment. Y'all, do y'all get that? A symptom or sign of an alignment. And I made the freaking title about alignment before I seen the definition. Period. So, and if y'all don't know what alignment is, I was looking up the definition of alignment online on Google and it wasn't giving what it's supposed to give. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to alignment on this podcast episode. And that is pretty much alignment is that your words match your actions or your actions match your words or your actions match what you want from life or what you're looking to get out of a situation. Your actions and your words have to match the reality that you're trying to create. That's what the alignment is going to be focused on in this episode, okay? So, I do this thing where I make sure that I get downloads, okay? And I get downloads from spirit guides and I write down certain things that pop up when I think of manifestations and some things that can be holding the collective back from manifestations. And I just write. So I am sure one of these things are going to be very relatable to the people watching this. Okay. By the way, if you want to book a session with me, you guys, I do readings, and my readings are all around healing. So I really focus on past life, life path, how to heal from trauma, talk like tapping into maybe some things that happened to you in your past life. How is this going to pivot you in the future? I really can read past, future, a lot of things, a lot of things. But my main goal is really to help push you in life and get you to where you need to get. So I will definitely put my link in the comments and also the description box. Prices are very, very low, you guys. And if you just want to try it out and do a 3 card pull, it's only $15. Okay, babes, only $15. So you can always do that. And I do my readings through Google Meets. So we can do video chat. If you don't feel comfortable with that, we can do it over the phone. So when you are going on the Squarespace site, all of my availability is in there correctly. So you book an appointment and you literally put your email and put your phone number, okay? And if you don't feel comfortable with being on Google Meets, literally send me a message. I usually put my phone number, my business number right in the comments in the description box and say, hey, can we just do it over the phone? I booked for this time. And I got you. Period. Um, so anyways, you guys, so going into the things, the downloads I was getting, right? Things that may be holding you back from your manifestations. Connection to divine and God. this is something big. And I'm gonna also tell you guys how I related to this and how it has helped me pivot and manifest a lot of things in life. And honestly, I've manifest a lot of things, and we're gonna talk about the things I've manifest. So, anyways, when I say that, that means that some of you guys may be, not all, but I'm talking to a collective, right? Some of you guys could be not having a connection with divine or God or universe or whatever you believe in. Um, is totally up to you. And I never push beliefs on anybody else. I don't believe in that. And I don't act out of like a religious mindset. So I'm not gonna push my belief on other people. That's just not how I am. But I do think you have to have a connection with whatever you believe in. And when I mean a connection, it is deeper than just saying, yes, I believe in this. So for instance, for example, for me, I believe in God. So for me to just say I have a connection with God, it's not good enough. I have to be making sure that I'm actually praying. I have to make sure that I'm actually journaling. Like I do journals where I write to God because I find it easier for me to write to God than it is for me to pray. But I still pray. But I find it easier for me to write to get my expressions out a lot easier. And then also making sure that I make time to fast. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then make time to really understand maybe what some disconnects I could be having. Like, is there some things that maybe in my childhood made me like have a little bit of distrust in God? Like, what is my relationship with the divine or with God? You know what I mean? Like, do I feel secure in this relationship? Am I really trusting God? Am I really to trust God is also to trust yourself. And I said this in another podcast. So that's a big thing that could be holding you back from manifestation. If you don't have a deep connection with divine, with God, with universe, whatever you believe, having that connection. Because even if you believe in universe, you believe in divine or whatever you believe in, then maybe you should be doing some more meditation, connecting with yourself. Maybe you should be doing some more yoga. Maybe you should be like journaling just about life and making sure you are expressing yourself. Maybe you're supposed to read books. So you need to find your connection. And this is one of the biggest things that can hold people back from manifestations, not having that connection. Because if you don't trust God, means also you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, it makes it very hard for you to manifest because trusting yourself is a big part of manifesting, which we'll get into. The next one, you guys, is your words don't match your actions. So this can be a potential thing that could be holding you back from manifestations. So if you're saying, "Oh, I want to," let's say, I'm going to use myself for example because I don't want to just use random examples. For me, I would say, "Oh, I want my podcast to be doing great. I want people to be watching it. I want it to be changing people's life. I want people to be able to watch it and feel like, whoa, I gain something from this and I can do better. And I'm happy that I actually can work on myself and heal some things. And like this has helped me grow. But then I'm not uploading the podcast at all. Like if I'm saying, oh, I want this podcast to heal, help people and grow and be like life changing for the world, but I'm never uploading the podcast or I'm never being consistent. Like I'm uploading the podcast 1 month and then I go ghost for 3 months. How is my words matching my actions? How are my manifestations even coming to fruition if I'm not even being consistent or doing what I said I'm doing, right? Or some people might be manifesting to like lose weight. Also, y'all, I'm a weight loss coach, so y'all can use the same booking link if you need a weight loss coach. If you're new here, I lost over 158 pounds. So yeah. But even people that are like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. People do this all the time. But they still want to eat the same way. They're still eating junk food or they're still like overeating or eating too much junk, whatever. But it's like your words are not matching your actions. So that can be holding you back from manifestations. Mind you, the things that I'm telling you, I'm going to give you solutions for. Okay. So the next thing is self doubt. Self doubt is a big thing that can hold you back from manifestations, you guys, because if you do not believe in yourself, you will not believe in your manifestations. So if you say, oh, I want that apartment, right? Or I want that job. But if you always doubt yourself and feel like you cannot get it, that is literally contradicting manifestations. Manifestations are supposed to feel like I have this, I deserve this, I will have this, it is mine, right? But if you feel like, oh, I can never get that job, I can never have that house, I couldn't afford that car, whatever your mindset is like that, your mind controls everything, right? So what you think is reality. And we're going to get more into that in the end as well, but your mindset controls everything in your life. So if you're doubting yourself, and I'm going to talk to you guys more too about why you could be doubting yourself, it could come from trauma. So literally self-doubt will hold you back from manifesting because you're going to give yourself negative talk, or you're going to believe negative talk. Even if you're not telling yourself negative things, but if people start putting negative things like, oh, I don't think you can get that house. Girl, you don't got no job. Or I don't think you can get that car. Like, you can't even pay your bills. Like, if you start letting people get in your head, that's also self doubt. You got to be confident when you're going into manifestations, which we're going to talk about that. Lack of discipline, y'all, which I made a whole video about discipline. So if you want to learn how to become disciplined, make sure you watch that podcast episode, okay? So if you have a lack of discipline, like you cannot stick to anything that you say you're gonna do, that is a problem with manifestation, okay? If you want to manifest a life, but you cannot be disciplined, sometimes God doesn't feel like you deserve that life if you can't show up and show that you actually want that life, that you actually will be ready for it if it came to fruition. Like, let's say you want to blow up on the internet or like social media or content creation, or you want your business to blow up or something like that, but you're not disciplined enough to like ship out orders on time or like respond back to customers and clients. Why would God give you these manifestations when He knows you're not even ready to handle them? So, a big thing is really understanding that discipline is really important for manifestations, okay? And motivation does not matter. When it comes to discipline, motivation does not matter. Okay? Discipline is just making yourself actually do things even when you don't want to, and having a routine and a pattern, which watch the discipline video. It literally tells you how to become disciplined and what could be holding you back from discipline. Self-sabotage. So some people are having problems with self-sabotaging themselves. Like, they know that they can be big, or they know that they can get more clients, or they know that they can get a certain job, but maybe they just never apply for the job, or they keep procrastinating on things, or they just don't feel like they have the mental space for it. So they just be like, no, I'm not going to do it. Oh, no, I'm not capable of it. Or like they will do stuff in order to not make their manifestations come true, which is sounds crazy, but a lot of people self sabotage. Okay. Overanalyzing and analysis paralysis. These are big things that can be holding you back from manifestations. I feel like, I don't know if I'm too far, y'all. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. But literally, analysis paralysis can slow you down from your manifestations because you're constantly overthinking about, oh, I have to have it this way. I got to film this way. I have to edit this way. I got to have this checklist done. I got to write this like this. In order to start my business, I got to know everything about business. I got to do all this research. Like, you are literally just slowing yourself down, and you're wondering why your manifestations are taking so long. It's because you are not just doing it. Like Nike, just do it. There's no one that just goes into something 100% and they know exactly what they're doing and makes no mistakes and does not have to grow. You're going to have to just get in there. You're going to have some bumps in the road, and you're going to have to figure it out. You don't got all your life to just make a plan and plan and plan and plan, but never do. Okay? That's a big thing. And then lack of trust. So this could be a lack of trust with yourself and a lack of trust with God. I talked about this briefly just now, but not trusting yourself that you can do stuff or you can accomplish certain things, not trusting that God has you or having faith that it will happen. So a lack of trust in general. Next thing is manifestation. So one thing I want to touch on is manifestations doesn't always take work. So this kind of is interesting because a lot of the stuff I just said in the beginning is a lot of work focus, or just like sticking to aligning yourself with your plan, right? But I have had manifestations that just literally I said it and it happened. I'm just gonna say that. Not everyone has that, but people are capable of it. So this is why words are very important, right? We want to watch the words that we use, and that's why we don't want to be negative and we want to have positive energy and be positive with our words instead of I can't, I can. This is mine. I have. Instead of thinking you're not abundant, you have to think you are abundant. So your mindset and your words, what you speak, are very important. Okay. So there's times, and this is what I want to say, like I've manifested, like I wanted a job. And I was like, oh yeah, I want a job. I want a corporate job. I'm gonna use this as an example. I want a corporate job. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna work in corporate one day. Was I really applying for corporate jobs? Not really, because I knew I didn't have the experience. I knew I had the degrees, but I didn't have the experience because I worked in retail for a very long time, retail management. So I never applied. And lo and behold, I met somebody when I was a retail manager that was a VP of a company, and I got to work in corporate just like that. So there's manifestation you can just speak that will happen. Like when you truthfully are like delusional and think that's gonna happen, like it can just happen without you doing anything. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh, like what I will say, faith without works is dead for sure. Because let's say with that, even though I didn't have to really do something to like make that really come into fruition, in order to continue that journey, I had to do something, right? So I had to obviously meet up with the VP, do several interviews. Like it couldn't be like I just didn't show up to the interviews and I just got it. You know what I mean? And I got the opportunity without having to really do anything like my manifestations did, but you do have to put some effort into your manifestations. Even I get a lot of I've gotten a lot of jobs where I just literally didn't apply and they asked me to apply. So, manifestations is real. I remember this apartment I live in. I used to drive past it all the time. And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there." I don't know. I was just saying that every time. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. And literally, I only stayed at my first apartment for 3 months and my mindset was limited. Even though I kept saying I'm gonna live here, I didn't think I could afford it because it looked so nice on the outside. Like, mind you, I had a career job, but it was my first or second career job out of college. So I was like not trying to get something expensive. So I'm like, oh, that place is probably like out like above my income, without even actually checking it out. I just kept driving past it. And one day, because my last place got mice, the last place got mice, so I had to move out because I'm not staying with no mice, okay? So I was like, "Yeah, let me check out that place that I always drive past to say I'm gonna live." And look, I live here. I got approved here. This like the next day, moved in 2 weeks later because I was not staying with a mouse. Not doing that, babes. The mouse got me out and it got me into my manifestations, right? But let's say if I never came and tour here and applied, would I had got this apartment? So that is the work part right there. But the words we say are very important because I've said some stuff and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't really expecting that to happen. I said it, or I thought some things were going to happen and they end up happening. But also, you guys, I found out I'm a medium. Okay. So that's a little bit more than a psychic because you can do a lot of different things. But I do have the ability to know certain things that are gonna happen before they happen. So that's also a thing. But words are very important. So just know you don't always have to just do something. Like it's not always about your control for something to happen, but you do need to be in alignment for those things to come through, for God to feel like you're ready for those things. Like you're actually going to put some effort into it, right? So we're going to talk about here the trauma behind these things, okay? Maybe why you could be getting held back from your manifestations. What trauma you could have experienced maybe in your childhood life or like growing up and things like that that can be significant for some people. And these are the things that we're picking up. And like I said, this is a collective, so not all these things have to resonate with everyone, but some people here could have experienced neglect. So, neglect, feeling unwanted, and this could be in different forms. Parents is coming up very big and significant. So some people can feel like they've experienced neglect with their family. So maybe their mother wasn't as attentive. As a kid. There could be many reasons. Maybe the mom mentally couldn't be attentive. It could be that the mom didn't have time. Could be working several jobs. It could be maybe their mother wasn't as loving and caring, so that may have caused them to not be as loving and caring. Maybe there could have been a lack of affection in the household. Could have been a lot of different things. Could have been also like a father figure not being available emotionally at all. Could be a father figure that wasn't there at all physically. Could be a father figure that was inconsistent. It could be a lot of different things, but neglect is something that is significant that could be a trauma thing that could potentially hold you back from manifestations, because sometimes when people neglect you, as a child especially, you might start to feel like you're not deserving of love because these people have left your life. You could have abandonment issues, and if you've had abandonment issues, you might also abandon yourself. So this is reason why you have to do this work, which we're going to talk about the work you have to do to overcome the abandonment issues. Just because you have these doesn't mean no, you cannot manifest. It means you have to acknowledge, and then when you acknowledge and release these things, then you're able to actually feel like I do deserve this. Before I was rudely interrupted by the Sony overheating, per usual. Lord. So the next thing, you guys, is lack of structure. So some of you guys could have grew up with a lack of structure, which if you did, make sure you go watch the discipline video because you need it, because I can't go through all the thorough details for that. But you probably literally lacked structure in your home, so like routine, discipline. Like I talk about there in the video about bedtimes, not having times where you're consistently eating, not having structure when who helps you with your homework, when you do your homework, just like no type of like structure in your life. So it's very hard to follow plans. Then if you never grew up with structure, it's very hard to follow a plan. And manifestation is a plan, and it's also a goal. So when you're trying to achieve something, you have to have a little structure. So that's a big thing that could be a trauma that could be holding you back. Another thing is some people have trauma around others not believing in them or needing validation from others, which I also have an episode on the podcast, okay, about validation and not seeking for validation. Make sure you watch that if that's a trauma that you've been dealing with. But this could be an issue if people growing up didn't believe in you, or you were the black sheep, or they made your ideas seem dumb, or they made you seem like you were crazy, like whatever you were saying was not making sense, or you couldn't accomplish certain things. Because then that might make you have self doubt as well, or question yourself, or not know your self worth. Another thing could be abuse. So, trigger warning. I sometimes forget to put trigger warnings. But it could be abuse. So some people, not saying everyone, like I said, it's a collective. Some people watching this could have suffered from abuse. So this could be mental or physical, right? So mental could be people talking down on, like talking down to you. That's another form of abuse, like calling you names, making you feel dumb, putting you down, harassing you, or whatever, like mentally or verbally. That could be a thing. Psychologically could be like making you mentally feel like down about yourself. So there's a lot of different types of abuse. So just remember, it could be verbal, it could be mental, or it could be physical. And some people could have also, trigger warning, experienced physical abuse. And if they've experienced physical abuse from even a partner or a parent, it could really make them not believe in themselves. And manifestation is always about believing in yourself. So that's a big reason why this trauma could hold you back, is because it makes you feel like you're not worthy, you're not capable, or make you feel down on yourself or not believing yourself. And especially if it's come from a family member or a parent, because they're the first ones that really teach you about love and how you should be treated. And so they can subconsciously make you feel like love is to hurt yourself. And hurting yourself doesn't have to be physical, it can be more of a bringing yourself down and mentally abusing yourself. That's very deep. But I feel like I had to say that. And like I said, doesn't always go for everyone, but I do feel like someone will be able to relate to that is watching this video. So now we're going to get into how to master manifestations, okay? How to master manifestations, even throughout the trauma, throughout the things that could be holding you back. Here's where we do the how to, okay, guys? So, first thing is feel deserving of what you want. Okay? So feel deserving. Like I deserve to be wealthy, right? If that's what you want. Or I deserve to be abundant. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be free. I deserve to have a nice car. I deserve to have a nice home. I deserve to have free time. I deserve to be creative. Whatever you are manifesting in your life, feel it and understand that you deserve it. And that might look like you have to tell yourself affirmations. A lot of this work is very similar. So if you even look at the other podcast episodes, which is so crazy because all of these go together, because some of the traumas that people are dealing with, they need to watch the other podcasts to get them out of those traumas. So literally feeling like you deserve it and knowing you deserve it, right? So that would be working on trauma like disbeliefs that you don't deserve things. So let's say you grew up with parents that made you feel like you were like a bad child or you didn't deserve good things or your ideas were stupid or whatever, or you grew up with friends that didn't support you or made you feel bad about yourself or made you feel like you didn't deserve things. This means that you have to work through this trauma. How do you work through this trauma? We'll talk a little bit more on it at the bottom of this list, but that can look like journaling, releasing feelings. And a big thing about journaling, it helps you get detailed about how did people make you feel? What did they say to you? What did they do to you? It's very important to be very detailed when you are doing this because this is a form of releasing. And when you write, you release way more than when you actually speak on things. Um, because you just keep going and you like your brain starts to like get all of this emotion and all of this communication out. So that is a big thing. Also sometimes this healing can look like actually having a conversation with the person that hurt you. Sometimes you really have to talk to the person, especially if it's a parent. Sometimes you might have to have a conversation like, hey, like I just want to talk to you about like my childhood or how I was brought up that I didn't feel deserving. I felt neglected or I felt put down or I felt verbally abused by these things. It's really good to use I feels because sometimes I know I have a hard time with this because I'd be like, you did this and you did that. But like I feels can help you navigate conversations, and if that is only if people are going to be receptive to like even just sitting down and talking. They don't have to be receptive to the information. This is a big thing. If you are going into a conversation, remember when you go into a conversation with a person for your own mental, because I don't think it's a closure thing, because you can get closure within yourself, like by journaling, uh like journaling it, reading it, releasing it can be like tearing it up, could be burning it, could be throwing it outside of your home. It could be a lot of things that you can do with the journaling that you use to physically release it, because you're emotionally releasing it when you're writing it, and then you can physically release it. So you don't really need closure, but if you feel like you have those people still in your life, then I do feel like conversations are necessary. Or even if you don't have them in your life, but you feel like you really just want to express it, you got to get it out. I would say go into the conversations without expectation that they are going to either A, admit that they were wrong, or B, apologize, or C, understand you. So go into it not expecting that they will have any sympathy, that they will feel any remorse, because when you go into a situation like that and those type of conversations with expectations, then you might end up being hurt and it might regress your progression. Okay. So the whole point of those conversations is not for them to validate how you feel. You have to already stand in how you feel and know that this is how you feel and this is what happened. The only point of that conversation would be to release emotion. So that's a big thing. I just felt like I had to get out there. Okay. So also, the next thing is feel confident in your abilities. Okay. So, whatever you're trying to accomplish and manifest, feel confident. And how do you build your confidence? Like I said, affirmations. Affirmations and practicing. Whatever you're doing, keep practicing it because you're not going to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect person, perfect um project, a perfect outcome, a perfect whatever you're creating or whatever you're trying to develop in your life. There's no perfect path. The path is not going to always look smooth from beginning to end. So remember that with manifestations, we're going to talk about that at the end. Like, stop giving up as soon as it gets hard. Stop doubting yourself and believe in yourself. Confidence is believing in yourself. And that's about your self talk. That's about your patience with yourself. But yes, you definitely have to be confident in your abilities and confident in the life path you see for yourself. Because a manifestation is really your life path, how you see your dream life. So you need to be confident that it will happen for you and that you're deserving and worthy of it, right? The next thing is write vivid future life. Okay, this is a big thing that I did. Okay, you have to write how you see your future life like it's a story, like it's a story of your dream life. Like I see myself, and I'm not going to tell you guys my vision or whatever, my life. You have to have a vision. Like you have to visually see yourself in whatever capacity you want. Let's say you see yourself running like a huge corporation or something. This is not my dream. But I'm saying, if I wanted to be like the CEO or CFO of a big corporation, I will envision myself being in that corporation building, running the corporation building, giving directions to people. If I see myself literally driving, let's say a BMW, this is not my vision, you guys. I don't want a BMW, but if I see myself driving a BMW, I will visually see myself driving my BMW to the corporation, being in the corporation, directing my employees. I will see my bonus check from the end of the year because I've hit my numbers, whatever. Okay. If that's your dream life, you have to see yourself. You can see your body, you can see your face, you can see yourself conducting these things, you can see yourself. You have to see yourself, right? So when you're writing this, it is you seeing yourself in a movie, practically. It's your movie and it's going to come. But you have to, when you're writing, like, oh, I just got promoted as the CFO of this company and I just bought my BMW. I just drove, it's been like 3 months or a year now, and I drove my BMW to this corporation that I am the CFO of, and I just got my first bonus check, and it was $10,000. Whatever. You have to, it's gonna seem crazy. It's gonna be like, what am I doing? But that is manifestation. Like, I know people tell you to do these one, two, three, three. They tell you to repeat this every day. They tell you to do, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but you have to see your vision. If for you to clearly understand what you are even shooting for, when you're writing it, you have to visually see yourself. You have to write it all out. After you write it all out, it has to be detailed. It should be about a page to 2 pages. Once you do this, you have to reread it and see yourself being that. So, once you make your plan, you want to make sure when you literally create your life, you're not even making a plan, you're literally making a vision. You are seeing yourself how you are going to be, right? So, once you create this, you want to take some time to actually read it. When you read it, and envision this, you want to then take some time to like think on it. Like either you can fast, like you can do a different day after you've wrote the actual. I would suggest to do a day after you wrote the vision where you fast, where you haven't ate, like at least for like 12 hours. Um, so that you can take the time. It doesn't have to be after the 12 hours, it can be during the 12 hours of not eating, right? Then you have time to focus, to read your plan and figure out and connect with divine, whatever you find as divine, right? And figure out where you don't align with what you're manifesting. So I can tell you guys this because the podcast is here, and the last few episodes since I've done this have gotten more views than a lot of my podcast episodes. So I'm just telling you from experience that I've done this and it works. Okay. So I was reading through my life that I manifested, and one of the things, since you guys are watching the podcast, is for my podcast to really grow. And I told y'all this earlier in the video, and for my podcast to be really big and for people to be able to grow and heal from the content I'm putting out, and I can help people in their life through my podcast. So I went on a fast. I read my vision for my life and I said, whoa, the podcast is very significant. There's other things that's significant. And I'm like, I haven't done the podcast in over a few months. I stopped doing the podcast because I didn't have a podcasting studio. I had one, but I didn't want to keep paying for it, right? And I also was like a little thrown off when one of my podcast episodes didn't get views. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people don't want to watch the podcast. And I realized that maybe my current subscribers don't really like to watch the podcast, which is fine because I make content that they like as well because they like weight loss content. They like story times. They like dating content. So I still give them the content they want. But I do see that a lot of people are coming and finding my channel that like my podcast. So before this, I was more in my head like, oh my gosh, it's not doing what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. So I'm just not going to do it. So when I reread my manifestation for life, I said, this is supposed to be big for me. And when you write a vision for yourself, you are actually seeing your future, if you don't know. So I'm like, this is my future. So if I'm not aligning with my future, how does it make sense? How am I going to manifest the life that I want or dream of? If I'm not recording my podcast, if I'm not putting out my podcast, if I'm not talking about my podcast, I'm doing nothing with the podcast for over a month. How does this align with my manifestations? In order for me to have a successful podcast, I have to podcast, first of all. I got to put it up. I got to edit it, put it on YouTube. Got to push it out. Got to keep doing it because you can't just do something one time and think that you got it down packed and you're going to just blow up. So you have to go back and read your manifestations in your life, your vision, and see, whoa, what am I not doing that I need to be doing? Like if you say, hey, I want to be a professional hairstylist, but you ain't braiding nobody hair, you ain't flat ironing nobody hair, you ain't dyeing nobody hair, you ain't clipping no ends, you ain't doing nothing. Then you gonna have to go from your vision. You see yourself as a celebrity hairstylist or something. You gotta go from your vision to be like, okay, so if I'm not even doing hair, let me start there. Let me start doing some hair. Okay. And then if I want to be a celebrity hairstylist, let me start posting my hair content on social media because that's how celebrities going to find me. And let me start tagging whatever you got to do. Right. That was so random. I don't know if anybody does hair, but yeah, like if you are saying that you want to do it and you went to cosmetology school, but you ain't using your cosmetology, license, you just lollygagging and hoping that one day something will just happen, but you ain't doing no hair, you ain't posting nothing, you ain't going nowhere. Like that is exactly what I mean. You have to write your vision, see it, and say, what am I not aligning with? If you want to drive that BMW or that Mercedes or that Tesla, or whatever, but you are not, maybe your salary is not enough. So that must mean you might need a higher paying job, or maybe you have a business, or like you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you need to start actually promoting your business more to get more money and more clients. You will then see, what am I lacking? And why am I not aligning with my manifestations? That is a big thing, you guys. And you want to make sure you're fasting because that's when your mind is the most clear, especially if you're not a clean eater. If you are a junk food eater, a fast food eater, you're going to need it because you have brain fog. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, so the next thing on here to do is pray, journal, be patient. This is exactly how I say pray, journal, be patient. Even if you don't believe in God, you believe in the universe, you believe in science, I don't know what you believe in. And I'm not judging you and I don't care. I'm one of them girlies. I don't care because it's not affecting me. Okay. So, anyways, you can still pray. And praying doesn't have to be praying to someone. Maybe you can even speak to yourself. I don't know. You can journal. You can be grateful just about the things you have in life. That's a big thing that I've been practicing is gratitude prayers because you're wanting these things, you're wanting more and more and more in life, but what are you grateful for? What do you already have? What is happening right now? Um, so the next thing is making sure you're claiming it. Whatever you want, saying it's my car, it's my apartment. So how I did this, you guys, I manifest a lot of things, and I'll tell you guys what I have manifested already because it's already happened. But I went to see my apartment that I'm moving into in San Antonio, which I will be having apartment tours and stuff. So, babes, make sure you watch and subscribe to this channel. But anyways, I seen the place. I said, "Oh yeah, this is my apartment." I said, "Oh, I felt it spiritually." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a spiritual feeling when I know something is mine." Um, and I said, "This is mine." I said, "Oh yeah, my new apartment, my new neighborhood. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors. I love the owner of this place. I love the owner of that place. Oh yeah, this is my neighborhood. This is my hood. Period. On period, poo. I'm gonna be up and down this hood, running them blocks. It's good." But anyways, like I knew that this was my space. So I was going around telling my mom, my brother, my friends, like, "Oh yeah, my apartment is so nice in San Antonio. Like my neighborhood is tea, like mine. And they were like, "Girl, why you saying mine? You don't even know if you got it. Like you ain't even applied yet." Well, I'm applying tomorrow and I know I got it. Which is crazy because my credit is shitty. Okay, so I could have got denied. could have got denied, but I knew this was my place. I know when something's mine. And I do have the gift of knowing, but if you believe, you will start to feel like you for sure know. Okay, if you believe in yourself. So yeah, I said it was mine, and guess what? I got approved. It's mine. As I thought. My car, I knew that I was gonna get this card. I felt like God told me this is my car. I'm gonna have it. The first time I tried to apply, it failed. The same day, the second time when I went, we got it. So even if it's a no, that does not mean it's not gonna happen. So keep trying. Don't give up. Maybe the first doesn't align, but the second could align. Maybe it's not that supposed to be that neighborhood. Maybe it's not supposed to be that dealership. Whatever. Just don't give up. And I've heard stories about that too, testimonies of people moving out of state and they got denied for so many apartments. And maybe it was because they weren't supposed to be in that neighborhood and they got approved for the specific apartment that was for them. So the biggest thing with manifestations is to claim it and do not give up. Keep going. Keep going, right? I also used to be like, oh, in my head, I started to think with my job that I no longer have a love for. So it ain't really. But with my job, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be working there. When I work there, I'm gonna park over here, blah 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 before I even got for sure the offer for the job. And I got the job. When you start saying my job, my car, my apartment, you got it already. Period. Like when I kept driving, oh, that's my apartment. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna live there. Live there. I told myself, y'all, I'm gonna be skinny. I'm gonna be skinny. Y'all I used to be 326 pounds. I was like, I'm gonna get small. I'm gonna get real small. I'm gonna be small. Had no clue how I was really gonna get small. Even like with weight loss surgery, you guys, and losing weight on my own, see other people's journey, I didn't see a lot of people get as small from the size that I was. I used to be 326 pounds. So I didn't know for sure I was really going to lose 158 pounds. I thought 250 was skinny. Honestly, because I was 326 pounds. And so for me, I was saying things and I didn't really realize I was manifesting what I wanted. I'm not skinny, but I'm smaller. And honestly, and it's not just to be like cocky because I'm working hard and I'm working hard to maintain this. And you have to understand manifestations, you're working hard for them. You deserve them. And you don't have to, I don't believe in humbling yourself. I believe in being grateful. I believe in not being arrogant. I believe in not putting others down during the process, but I don't believe you have to put yourself down to like uplift others. No. So the next Next thing is tune out the noise or the naysayers. Okay, the people that are gonna be negative down this path, tune them out. Okay, and if you can't tune them out, don't tell them. Period. Next thing is your mind controls your reality, which I talked about. Your mind, the way you think, controls your reality. So if you think, oh, I'm not gonna get it, I'm not gonna get approved. My credit's bad. Oh, I'm not gonna get the car. Like I don't have a down payment. Girl, there's signing drives where you don't even need a down payment. Like, relax. When you start just think, I can't, you gonna not can't. That was crazy. That didn't even make no sense. You're not going to be able to do it because you believe you can't do it. So, and I realize this a big thing is your mind really controls your body because when I work out, y'all, I used to not think I could do box jumps because in my mind I kept saying I cannot do it. I kept saying I cannot do it. One day I said, "Oh, I can do it. I can do it." And guess what? I was able to do a box jump and lift my whole body on that box. It was my mind and my anxiety causing me to think I could not do it. But when I started telling myself I could do it, guess what? I could do it. When I said I couldn't do a push up, I couldn't do it. When I said, yes, I can do a push up, I could do it magically because I wasn't stressing about it and hyping myself into anxiety. Anyways, y'all, a book suggestion for that is to read The Secret. The Secret is all about the law of attraction, okay? And how to manifest and how to attract and how to control your mindset. It's an amazing book. I read it. It's awesome. Make sure you read it. This is the end of Less Trauma Bond podcast episode. I actually always do at the end a card reading. So if you don't like card readings, you definitely can exit out. No offense took it here. I'm not pressuring anyone, but I do want to get a card pull for the collective of what you need to know about your manifestations coming in. Oh, there's a lot. Let me see if I like should I take them on? I always feel like I gotta take them on. Okay, I'm trying to make it quick. Whew, okay. So first of all, a big thing that I was feeling and hearing is it's coming. Your manifestations are coming. Your calling is coming. So just know it's happening. So make sure you are being patient. Like I said, you are doing the work too. You want to make sure you are doing the work because the traumatic work is very important. The vision is very important. So awakening, stabilizing, and clearing past traumas. Y'all can't make this up. Y'all just see me. Y'all seen all these cars fall out. Y'all seen all them cars fall out. Clearing past trauma. Didn't I just say that, y'all? Didn't I just say that? So you want to make sure you are clearing those past traumas, you guys. You facing what has been holding you back so that you can move forward. Mindful, psychic, and high vibrations. Okay. I'm feeling that you can be very high vibrational, very intuitive, but you may not be using your intuition as much. And maybe you're not trusting your intuition, which is something big. I felt something there. So you need to start using that. Change, mystery, and balancing cycles. It is crazy because when I went on break, because my camera was overheating, 555 came up for positive change. So there's change coming in, there's shifts coming in, and your manifestations are going to come in. Things are going to balance out. Art, honesty, and embracing intellectual ability. I'm sorry, y'all. That was terrible. Art, honesty, and enhancing intellectual ability. Okay, you are some type of creator. And I kind of felt that a lot. Like there's creators that's watching this, could be artists, could be creators, could be social media, could be business owners. I'm getting business owners very strong. Hmm. And that also goes back to intuition, your intuition and using your third eye, which if you guys want more on that, you guys can book with me and we can talk more on it on a one-on-one level because it's a collective reading. Authenticity, balance, and deep transformation. That's back to the eye again. That third eye. Mm, Timeless authenticity. That's a big thing. I want to question you guys if you are being authentic, if you're being your true self, if you're showing your true abilities and your true gifts, or are you hiding anything? Are you reserving anything? Are you being afraid to be seen? That's something big that's coming up. Mm, Clear vision. Oh my God. Y'all, this is at the very bottom of the deck. Clear vision, which is why you need to write out your vision of your life. You need a clear vision. You need to align with your vision. And this is all going to come together. Don't hide yourself. Take risks. Trust your intuition. Use your intuition. Don't hide your creativity. Don't hide your gifts, no matter what people think of them. But that's the message I really wanted to get out to you guys. If you do want a personal reading, like I said, you can definitely book. It's in the comments. Prices are very, very affordable right now. Prices will go up. So make sure you book while there is availability. And like I said, I'm all about love and light. So I'm really want to like push you guys forward in your life and help you through trauma and helps you heal. That also strengthens your abilities as a creative, as an intuitive. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next podcast episode.